Hey everyone, it's Mo again. So by now you've watched a great video by kidshealth.org detailing how to look at nutrition labels and what important information to grab from it. I just wanted to reinforce and reiterate that those figures, particularly the daily value percentages, are based on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. And again, that's about the amount of calories that people of your age should be eating in order to maintain their weight. Now, just to again remind you, we want to keep certain things low, 5% or less, and those things would be our cholesterol, total fat, trans fat, as well as the sodium and the saturated fats. The things that we want to keep high, which is greater percent, 20% or higher, would be things like your minerals and your vitamins. Okay. Now, calories. So calories, sometimes they can seem like it's this really complicated thing and people counting and using apps and this and that. Well, I want to try to simplify it for you today. Calorie is actually a form of quantifying or measuring energy, and the energy that we take in is in the form of food. So that's why we use calories to kind of quantify and put a number on how much food or how much energy we're getting from the food that we're taking in per day. Now, as we know, if you have a high amount of calories, more than you need and more than you burn per day, then you're going to pack on the pounds and gain weight. If you're taking in less, then you're going to lose weight. Okay. So again, in obesity and in weight gain, the problem here is that we're taking in more energy than we expend or use. All right. Now, the amount of calories that we need per day really depends on multiple factors. Now, that being our age, our weight or height or genetics, or gender, and along with that, combined with that is the amount of physical activity we do a day. Okay. So there are multiple ways that we can figure out what our daily caloric needs are. There is charts that have been put out, for example, by governmental agencies, and there are actually some websites which factor in multiple factors, like such as your height and weight and age and gender, and then they also can sometimes combine how much physical activity you do, and they'll pop out a number of calories per day that you should be eating. Okay. Quickly giving you an idea of the physical activity component, right, of it, that changes depending on how much activity you have in a day. If you're, for example, playing basketball and you're just shooting hoops, that's about 200 for an hour. That's about 200 to 250 calories. But if you're playing an entire game, like a game that's officiated on the basketball team with your friends, and you're playing full court, that's actually about 400 calories being burned an hour. Okay, so it really depends on how much exercise you're doing, and you can see how in the same amount of time, doing more rigorous exercise and vigorous exercise will lead to higher calories being burned, just because you need that energy to move. Okay, great. So, instead of showing you how each different component of a food adds up to the calories that are within an entire dish, I'm just going to go through the sample diet that we had the other day, and I'm going to kind of have to go through the different components of it. But quick thing that I wanted to mention was that a lot of dishes, for example, whole dishes, have already been computed, and people have them on the internet. For example, there are websites like calorielab.com or caloriecount.com, which I use, and they're pretty simple to use, that have entire dishes in there, and you don't have to kind of know the separate components of each dish. There's many other websites like that and apps like that you can use on your phones that have entire dishes ready to go, and you can use that as a good estimate, or you could do it by component or by ingredient. Okay, and the ingredients, for example, if it's a tortilla that you're using in your burrito, you could just look at the back of the package that it came on. If there's something that you don't have a package, like a tomato or some type of other fruit or vegetable you're using in your recipe, then you could use the internet and easily find that information. Okay, so I quickly wanted to just go through one of the meals, let's say particularly our breakfast from that diet plan that I gave you for the course of a day in the last video. So in that video we had 2 eggs that we poached or boiled, and each egg was 70 calories, so that would be a total of 140 calories for the eggs. We had a piece of toast, not buttered, whole wheat toast, which would be about 80 calories. We have a cup of skim milk yogurt, which would be about 140 calories. We added in a banana or apple, and the banana is about 100 calories. And we took that with a cup of 2% milk, which is about 120 calories. And that would be a total of about 580 calories. Now, when you do that same calculation for the rest of the meal plan, you will come up to add a total of about 2,055 calories for that day. Okay, and that's again about where you all should be to maintain the weight that you're currently at. All right, so you could use this number now and see, okay, if you're trying to lose weight, a good way actually to lose 1 pound a week would be to decrease your intake of calories by 500 calories a day. And the reason for that is if you do 500 calories for every day for 7 days a week, that's 500 times 7, which is 3,500 calories per week. And that will lead to 1 pound of weight loss because 1 pound of fat is about 3,500 calories, all right? So that's a good way to kind of set a goal. Now again, as with goals with any type of diet plan, you don't want to just rush into it and say, okay, I'm going to go straight from 2,000 calories or 2,500 calories to 1,500 calories and try to go, a net negative of 1,000 calories a day, because that's kind of difficult and your body's not used to it. And you have to kind of get used, your body has to, start forming a good habit to that. And sometimes if you make drastic changes, then you're not going to stick with it. So I definitely recommend doing things slowly, decreasing your amount of calories, maybe 100, 200 calories per week, and up until where you get to that goal, okay? And also for people who are doing a lot of activity, playing a lot of sports, you may actually want to be over the recommended limit. And again, there's a lot of calculators and charts that show you, okay, if you're a really active person, you should be eating this many calories, and that is how many calories you'd want to eat. The chart in particular that I'll be giving you, which they talk about the sedentary, moderately active, and active. The sedentary is someone who, for example, comes home from school, sits down, plays video games all day long. The moderately active is someone who goes after school and plays with his friends for an hour or two, shooting hoops, riding his bicycle. The active person is someone who a couple days a week will go to basketball, football practice, and the rest of the days of the week will go and play out with his friends. Okay, and also works out on the weekends. All right. So just a quick measure of what that means when you get that. Last thing I'd really like you to do is really take a little bit of time and complete that worksheet that goes along with this video. I'd like you to take that diet that you made last time and now calculate how many calories it is and see where you're at. If you're someone who you think you need to lose some weight and you're not at the ideal body weight for your height, then go ahead and see what you can cut out without sacrificing some of the crucial food groups that we want to make sure we take in based on that DASH diet that I told you, in the healthy diet, where you want a good amount of your fruit and veggies and grains in every day, okay? And a good amount of proteins. Also, again, just so you know, there are really great apps, again, that can help you track all this stuff. You can track your entire day's worth of meals onto an app, and it can tell you how many calories you've had that day and how many you can still eat, how many you're over, so that way you can continuously improve your diet and make it a healthy method of eating, okay? All right, we'll see you next time.